Racing isn't easy, but experiencing it is. iRacing puts you in the driver's seat with the industry's leading sim racing game. Drive on laser scan replicas of the greatest racing circuits from around the world. Go head-to-head against other drivers chosen by skill-based matchmaking to ensure competitive racing at every level. Compete across all your favorite series. In officially licensed cars, engineered to deliver the most accurate driving experience possible. Join a race or host your own with players from across the globe. Race against the computer or in a league with friends. Feel the thrill behind the wheel. Visit Visit iRacing.com.
Good evening, everybody. Welcome to SimRacing International and welcome to the latest round of the SRI GT3 Championship here on Thursday nights as part of Season 11, and welcome to Split B with Chaz Draycott and Dara Thacker in the commentary box. Dara, we've had a wonderful season so far, a very interesting time last time in Miami, but out of all of the circuits we've got coming up this season, this is probably going to be the most bespoke, let's call it.
The wild and the ridiculous, I think, is what we're going to be expecting tonight. I mean, lap times are over 2 minutes 40, over 160 seconds. Good job we've got the 1 hour race here this evening to get our teeth into. Going to be really weird, I think, for a lot of the drivers, because this isn't a track we run around a lot, but it isn't, vastly different to the Monza we know and love. It just has an oval which feels like you're, hanging on for dear life, going around the wall of death. So apart from that, it's going to be your run-of-the-mill normal Monza race for half of it, and then what the heck are we looking at for the other half? Yeah,
it's going to be a pretty interesting one, to say the least, mate. It should be good fun all the same, though, and I'd certainly hope so anyway. This is how the championship standings look at the moment in the Premier class. Victor van Zijst still leading the way, which is, to be fair, a big surprise after the previous race in the championship, but you know what? It's just showing that the top few drivers didn't have that good a time. Thomas Weston took the win in round number 6, and that's what's propelled him into the top 5. But so many of them inside the top 5, top 6, all had a tough time back at Miami, didn't they, Dara? And it's really not shaking the order up too much, actually, because they all did, with no disrespect to them, consistently bad.
Yeah, I mean, it was a bit of a weird one, wasn't it? Last week, and I think we did get a big difference in terms of who we could see fighting towards the front of the field, and you can see by the points that there isn't a lot between them at the moment.
No, absolutely not. And then over in the Evo class, it's a similar story as well, actually, with the fact that we've got Michael Rhodes leading the way, but he's not a mile ahead of Denny Plurger and Joshua Downing. It's quite close between those three, in fact. Christopher Petty is now in 4th place ahead of Danny Weir, who has had a very inconsistent season. He's had 11th, 12th and 12th, but 2 wins and a third. It's mad. Stuart Rice won the first round of the championship in the Evo class, but now finds himself in 6th position, while James Fraser, Gareth Newton, Jan Nage and Rob Gregg complete the top 10 positions. Certainly a lot to fight for in both of those classes, a lot to fight for in the overall racing that we're going to be seeing in the background as well. But yeah, looking at this circuit, Dara, I mean, it's unique to say the least, because, well, not only do you have this wonderful Monza Grand Prix circuit to contend with, but you also have the banking as well, the old classic banking to think about, which is actually the start of the lap. It's very strange.
It is very strange, but yeah, you almost have to just worry about the two circuits as almost separate circuits, realistically, even though they are part of one. Difficult to do so, of course, as we will see coming in towards this Della Roger chicane. Sorry, not Della Roger chicane, turn 1. Into the second of the chicanes here at Monza. And I think it's going to be weird because you have so many cars on the circuit that even if we have issues, there's going to be more separation of the cars around, not just this GP week, but of course that oval loop as well. And yeah, of course that start-finish straight being separated as well means that maybe a little bit more difficult to push for those moves down at turn 1, which is of course a really advantageous overtaking opportunity if you can make use of it hard on the brake. So yeah, I'm interested to see how this one's going to play in the opening stages of the race.
Yeah, definitely. And we look at these cars right now because, importantly, the Vulcan fasteners by GlassTech Racing Team have changed from the Mercedes. I was praising them for using the Mercedes and giving it a bit more extra life. They've actually now changed over to the Porsche 911 992 GT3Rs. So I'm intrigued to see how they get on. We've got some new drivers joining us tonight, one of which is Andrew Allen, and as I'm sure we will see... Oh, as he runs a little bit wide. He is in the Type 2 racing machine, so I just need to change that. I didn't get team names for the 2 new drivers that we've got, so please do forgive me. We'll just update that, and he is in Team Type 2. the other driver that joins him as a newcomer tonight, I'm just having a look, is Stephen Kershaw. Stephen's not out on the circuit at the moment. I first commentated on Stephen back in the Porsche Club of Great Britain SimRacing series a while ago. This is Rachel Huff, and you'll notice she's no longer in an Aston Martin, and not the first driver this season, Dara, to change to a BMW.
No, we don't get that a lot, do we? With drivers deciding that maybe they want to change car coming into a race, or over the course of the season. But rarely do we see them change it into a BMW. So I think it's interesting that we've seen that, but from a couple of drivers so far this season. But yeah, I'm not necessarily sure what exactly would be the cause for a change like that. We'd have to ask Rachel, I think.
Yeah, maybe they want to make life harder for themselves. I'm not quite sure. We'll wait and see. Either way, interested to see another BMW out there on the circuit. Jan Osberg must be loving the Porsche because he's currently fastest in it. Craig Hewlett going well as well. This is the banking now then. And look at the speed they're doing around here. They are flat out all the way around. They're going to be staying up high on a fast lap, and then they're going to run all the way down the start-finish straight. But look how narrow it looks here. It's cut in half by that green barrier. And then they go down towards turn 1. It's mental, absolutely mental. And at this point, he's just getting to the halfway point of the lap. So halfway round is now into turn 1. Shows you just how long that banking is, actually, considering that the distance-wise, the Grand Prix circuit is only just under half. So, yeah, very, very strange.
Yeah, full 10Ks, isn't it, for this race, for this lap. So really interesting to see how long it, quite frankly, is compared to a lot of the other tracks that we'll go to over the course of this season. But you come into this turn one thinking that's the start of your lap. Already you're thinking and looking at the time and trying to wonder how good this lap could be as you get later on into the session. Not long left for drivers to start and finish lap times. 8 minutes means that there's only time for 3 more laps before the timer hits 0, and you're going wide like the drivers are in the background there. But yeah, it's a conundrum that drivers just have to deal with. It's just not something that they would have been necessarily used to or necessarily been expecting to have to come into this. But I mean, it's a fun little challenge because hey, who doesn't love doing this kind of random Monza layout?
Yeah, absolutely. I think it'll be a bit of a shock to the system of some drivers as well. And there's an oval racing element to it as well, where you've got to think about how you're going around the banking and how you're holding on to the car and who you're sticking with and who you're not. I still find it amazing though that at nearly a 3-minute lap time the top 4 are separated by less than a tenth of a second. That's just absolutely balmy, really, really balmy. But again, it's the calibre and the class of the field that we have here in the SimRacing International GT3 Championship here on Thursday nights. We've had a hell of a calendar as well so far throughout the season. I do want to just quickly show you the calendar as well. Not in the same way that I showed everybody the calendar last night in Formula CDM and had some of the graphics lined up wrong. But this denotes the final round in the first half of the season. We go to Virginia next time out on the 12th of Feb. God knows why we're doing that, because everybody hates the place. Then we go to Bathurst, Nürburgring, and then they seem to like Italy as well, because we go to Misano and Imola to round out the season. And much like we had in Formula CDM, actually, Dara, Imola to end the season, it's quite harsh, really, isn't it? Because it's quite a pivotal and very difficult circuit.
It is. I mean, it's a really interesting calendar, I think, that's put together, and it's fun in different aspects. Virginia, I think, may be less enjoyed by some of the drivers, but I have to say, it can be a little bit crazy, so I am looking forward to seeing what happens. Far rather would be up here than down on the circuit, of course, but yeah, looking forward to seeing what happens in that one. Lots of drivers, of course, sticking to that yellow line. You can see it around the banking just to try and keep them tight, but also picking up the benefit of that great run off of the banking towards turn number... Well, I say turn number 1, I guess in a way it's turn 3, isn't it? But I'm going to call it turn 1 anyway. Don't come at me, please. But, with only 6 minutes to go, these are the last chances. There's only a couple more shots that the drivers can really take at jumping up the order. And these times aren't that far apart. That Premier class, the top 4 drivers, for a lap time that's 2 minutes 42. And yes, I know a lot of it's at full throttle, but less than a tenth? It's crazy.
Yeah, it's absolutely nuts, but... like I said, this is the calibre we deal with here in this championship. It's wonderful to see. Really, really wonderful. Stephen Kershaw is out on the circuit right now. And yes, of course, he's running some classic Porsche Gulf colours. And he is indeed a Porsche. Is Stephen Kershaw, part of the Porsche Club of Great Britain. Lovely guy as well. I think he runs the PCGB Sim Racing series, actually. He did, at least the last time I was involved with it. He's currently running 31st in class. We've got a great turnout tonight, actually. 56 cars in the session, so a huge grid, which, I mean, at any round, I wouldn't have expected here of all of them because of the fact that, well, there's so few of them. Oh, hello. You're not allowed to see that. I've got to do a little quick edit or something. I shouldn't have said anything. But Jan Osberg is currently fastest, and now we're about to see him and his teammate go onto the banking here. This is going to be quite spicy, isn't it?
Yeah, let's see, a couple of cars low as well. That's not necessarily fun, but you go around the banking. Where do you cross over the circuit? It is just about there, I think. And then you run all the way through to this flattening out part of the track. Of course, it isn't the best surface, it isn't the widest surface, but it gets wider and thinner in random parts, and of course the concrete is just not going to be very nice on the tyres. But I don't think we're going to be seeing too much overtaking happening down in towards the second of the two main parts of banking, but it's all about keeping that minimum speed up, keeping that momentum going, and just focusing on turn number one. You have almost such a long time to think about turn number one, as it's a game of guess who now.
Sorry.
Who's who. But they all run towards turn number one once again. But you've already therefore lost a minute on your lap time now.
Yeah, it's crazy, isn't it? How quickly the lap times can dwindle or suddenly be improved. This is the 169 machine, and side by side with the Corvette. And then switcheroo on the exit once again. This is a good bit of fun between these guys. It's Klaas Vellen in that Porsche. In the Corvette. Porsche behind, I'm just trying to figure out who that is that's chasing them on the circuit. Couldn't quite pick out who that was. I think it's... Janaj is just in front of him. Just trying to figure out who that Porsche was. Is it Martin Brandon? No, Martin Brandon we know is in the big mackerel. He still hasn't confirmed whether it is a mackerel or not, actually. So I'm not quite sure. But I like to think that it is. There's, whoa, Janaj way off in the background. James Fraser just coming around in the Porsche. It's not him either. James Fraser had a slight disagreement with the organisers in the week. But it's interesting to see him still on the circuit after a telling off, let's say. Oh, you can see the shadows there flashing past on the bridge, which was interesting to see. Hussein Sarakadesla back with us on the circuit again, which is always a pleasure, in the big old beefy Mustang, screaming his way around. Thomas Weston there just coming out of the Ascari section down towards the final corner, which to me, Dara, will always be the Parabolica, not Curva di Alboreto.
Yeah, I fully agree with you. It's like the Variante Alta at Imola. They've changed the name to something, but it's always going to be the Variante Alta name. Out of the Parabolica they come, and then of course they have to keep it, make sure you keep nice and tight to what is normally the advertising that is put onto the circuit on the inside, but now can be driven over as tarmac and almost side by side overtaking. Hello, into the banking. This is a little bit risky to end the qualifying session. It's like flying formation, isn't it? As they run their way through, but that was a bit aggressive momentarily. I believe that was it was that on the inside, the 119 I think it was. There's so many cars. There are 38 Premier cars here tonight.
Yeah, I was just counting down it then just to see how many there are.
Yeah, I mean, there's just. I was about to say I was still looking down for the number I was looking for. I think it's Toby Hardiak there.
Yes.
The Phoenix Racing Red, it is indeed. But I kept looking down and down, and there's more, and oh my god, 38. And that's just one of the classes. That's not all of the cars in the circuit. There's 56 in this qualifying session. I mean, I know we've got 10 kilometres, but goodness me.
It's brilliant, isn't it? As Toby really squeezing Tom to the apex there. But it's interesting because Tom is not as high up as we expected after the fact that he had a fantastic performance at Miami. He's 15th in class. Toby Hardiak is 21st in class. It's a very topsy-turvy grid at the minute with just 30 seconds left to go. I'm very excited to see who are the drivers to get their laps in. Stuart Rice just about to cross the line in the BMW. It must be quite weird actually doing this and then seeing a car go that much faster than you down the left-hand side of the straight, but it's what it is. Stuart crosses the line, improves into 5th position. Well done to him. Dean Sheesby in the Corvette is not going to get his final time in, I don't think. No, he's not going to. So that will be the end of the qualifying session then. And everybody will disappear pretty instantly. Although no, they will not, because we're not in a heat racing format tonight, simply because we have just the one race. So they do get chance in these hour-long races to finish their qualifying lap. My mistake. My apologies, everybody. Can you imagine, Dara? If I knew what I was doing, I think I'd be quite dangerous.
Yeah, I think that goes for both of us, and probably all of the cars on the circuit as well. So that makes, what, 58 of us?
Yeah.
if we were any good, we might be all right.
Yeah.
That's the mantra I'm taking into the next week, I think. But yeah, I mean, it's nicer as well for these guys that they can finish their laps or just pull over to the side of the road, depending on what they want to do. Because, of course, with it being that much of a longer lap anyway, they would have got that many fewer chances to set a lap over the course of the 45-minute long session. So, nice that they'll get an extra run or two. Not many people have done anything over 10 laps. So, it's been a long session, but still not too many, decent timed runs will have counted towards the drivers. Phil McConaughey will not be improving on his P35, and it looks like James Pallow is going to be staying in P36 as well.
Yeah, not much improvement going on then. Matthew Hunter coming around the final corner and, importantly, practicing the pit entry here at Monza, which is very, very key. It is certainly something that you need to check. But that is going to be the end of the session now, as all cars have crossed the line and sorted their laps out. Everyone will disappear in just a moment, and we will be ready to get this hour-long race underway. Although, of course, we have a 5-minute warm-up session here for the drivers to prepare, because I mean, it's a long old qualifying session, isn't it? You and I have covered the one-shot qualifying in the Formula CDM Championship, and that doesn't seem to be that long a format, but when you're sat waiting as a driver, or if you've set all the times you've wanted to set, it can really extend a session by a long time, can't it?
Yeah, it can. And it's always something you're going to have to be thinking of. But, I mean, luckily we're not going to have to face, like a full formation lap twice here, like we did at Miami last week.
Very true.
That, I think, could have been one of the worst things I've ever experienced, so I'm glad we've avoided it.
It was quite difficult to extend talking about the grid beyond that. We do, I think, still have... Oh, no, it's just because we've got some cars in the pit lane. It's counting as the session not being completely finished, but I think it gives them a full length of a lap sort of time anyway, so we'll probably only get another sort of 10 seconds and then the session should be done with, and then it will obviously teleport everybody away and back in. That sort of lump of the building that's sticking out there, by the way, that sort of lounge area, I can tell you that the bit that attaches to that is absolutely wonderful. I've had the pleasure and the honour, I'm going to call it, of being in there for an awards dinner one night while I was at Monza a few years ago with my good friend Chris McCarthy, and it was just such an awesome place to be. There was no cars even going around the circuit, but the view you get from there is just magic, and I'm fortunate enough to have been on the podium above the start-finish straight at Monza while a GT3 race has been going on in the ACI GT Endurance Championship, and let me tell you, as a motorsport fan, there's not many experiences that I think could better that, to be honest with you. It was quite amazing. But Monza is an iconic place, isn't it, Dara? I think everybody knows this place well enough, but as we've been saying, not the combined layout like this, I guess.
Did you win anything on that podium when you got up there, or were you just having a look around?
It was when I was commentating. I was covering Clio Cup Europe at the time. And that was one of the most hilarious race weekends we had, because we had 52 Clios in the wet at Monza. It was very funny, actually. It was a hilarious race meeting. It was leathering it down all weekend. But because I was only covering the one series, I was in a fortunate enough position to be able to just go and watch the other races from wherever I wanted. And yeah, my pass for the weekend got me onto that podium, which I was very, very grateful for. So Matt Stace on his way out. he's decided to give it another go. I think he's updated his livery, I think. He's got a different mat on the car this time round. And he said that he was going to have some sort of... I mean, that one's a bit flatter than the others, isn't it? He said he had a project ahead of him to do something with it, so we need to try and figure out what that was. He doesn't seem to have any numbers on his car, though, and that's greatly upsetting me. So I'm not quite sure what he's done to his livery, but his numbers on his number board are gone. I don't think he's selected the right base livery under the car to show them. Still, a number of them are heading out to utilise this warm-up session as if 45 minutes of qualifying was enough.
You need all the time you can get, I think. Why not, quite frankly? It's only a 5-minute warm-up session, so...
One lap.
Well, yeah, we're not going to be around forever. Waiting for them to get through the warm-up and get going in the race. Steve Rubino there, 1-2-1, looking like a man who would very much enjoy driving that Mustang in real life. Yeah, enjoying it at the moment, I think, to drive on this interesting layout. It really pinches up there, doesn't it, as you come off that banking. That wall arrives onto the scene, doesn't it? It doesn't just poke out. It sticks out like a sore thumb. That could be interesting in the race.
Absolutely, yeah. We'll have another look at it here. Look at the arm car on the left-hand side. It comes closer and closer and then disappears. Oh. That Marshall is very, very brave standing there, but yeah, it's very scary. Very scary indeed. I've seen numerous races around here where people have ended up in that wall, but we have an exciting time ahead here tonight, and I think this, I don't want to say it's going to be about survival. It's going to be about not being stupid on the banking, because a lot of people are going to go into this and know how careful they need to be, how reserved they need to be, and they're going to have a level-headed approach to it. But all it will take is one overzealous move and one wrong move in the pack, and there will be a humongous accident, as there was in an event I did here a while ago in the Pontiac Solstice, of all things. We did a charity event there for a single race on my YouTube channel, and yeah, with all the drivers in Discord, everyone was shouting at each other, and there was a massive pile up on the back straight. Took out half the field. It was hilarious, but hopefully none of that tonight, because there was only 15 or 16 of them, and there's 58 of us here tonight.
Yeah, I mean, if we get a little bit of tension on that banking and there's a bit of contact, goodness me.
Trees.
Roadblock doesn't cover it, I don't think. We're going to be stuck for quite some time, I think, trying to get everybody through that kind of situation. So I think the drivers that have qualified well are going to be feeling much better about themselves. Just naturally from being safer towards the front of the field, because the further back you go, when there are 56 cars starting, if you're 56th or 56, and something goes wrong in the top 10, goodness me, you're going to arrive onto a scene. Oscar-winning scene of how much drama is going on. But yeah, it's going to be interesting nonetheless. But I just want to get the race started to find out how crazy it is towards the opening turns.
It's just mad. This is 178 miles an hour. They'll have the setup dialed in so that obviously they can get as much straight line speed out of these cars. GT3 cars usually get to about 170 with relative ease, and then that's when they sort of plateau. But to be sat here flat out round banking like that, 177 miles an hour, and then onto the straight, he's now going to peak to 178 by the sound of it as well, but he's right at the top of 6th gear, and then he's going to get onto the brakes where, about 200? Yeah, about the I don't know. Wow. That shows you... Oh, I was going to say, he's not stopping. That shows you just how good the braking confidence is, though, from Mark Kent, because he started braking there at about the 150 metre board. I would have thought about 500 metres, knowing me. But that was, yeah, commitment on commitment. Just have to see...
He was going full tilt.
Yeah, he was. He was going full tilt, absolutely. We'll just have to see how that lasts in the whole race. But one thing I want to just quickly touch on here is the fact that Victor Van Zyst still leads the championship after a nightmare at Miami. The championship barely changed at all. We expected him to drop way down the order, and somehow he came out on top after that race meeting and still is in the championship lead. I think he'll be coming here still breathing the same sigh of relief. What do you reckon?
Yeah, I mean, we've seen how close it's been over the course of the season so far, particularly, well, in this B split particularly, in both categories. But I think it's just such a mix of drivers that'll feel competitive or feel like they have good enough pace to challenge towards the front of the field that we do get that rotation of drivers at the front. And there's not going to be the same drivers, but he really did get away with one last week.
Yeah, I'm just going to quickly check, actually. Where are they on the circuit? Ah, that's nice of them. They're only down the road from Ascari, so it's not a ridiculous pace lap that we've got. Jan Osberg will start on pole position then, with Craig Hewlett alongside him. Then it's Dean Sheasby alongside John Treen. Philip Harris is next up alongside Daniel Meller. He went really well at Miami. Then it's Mr. Clifton alongside Robin Aston. Jan Nage is the leader in the Evo class tonight, with Andre Muntean alongside him on the 5th row of the grid. Next up is John Ludbrook and Danny Weir. Then it's James Bostock alongside championship leader Victor van Zeist. Denny Plurger is next ahead of Thomas Weston in 18th. Then it's James Fraser and Barry Wenman 20th. Next up we will have Stuart Rice and Hussein Sarakadesla. Then we have Chris Petty and Robin Pornier. David Pilcher and Lewis Hammond ahead of Klaas Wellen quite far down the order. Same with Toby Hardiak as well. Graham Vivers is 29th ahead of Steve Rubino. Then it's Rob Mackay and it is it Steve Hughes? Yes, it's Steve Hughes, yeah. It is next up Mark Kent with Michael Rhodes joining him in the 34th spot. Then it's Jones and Healy on the 19th row. Miller and Gregg make up the 20th row and complete the top 40. Next up on the grid will be Rachel Huff alongside Pete Piver, the Brazilian driver. Stephen Kershaw on his debut will start alongside Dwayne Hoffman. Then we have Andrew Fellows and Matthew Hunter side by side on 45th and 6th. Then it's McConaughey, Newton, Chell and Downing completing the top 50. Stace alongside Pallett with Brandon and Larkman next up. Tiago Reiser and Paul Matthey will be starting from the pit lane for this race. And we'll now go to the front of the order and watch the field crawling their way down towards the Parabolica. Any predictions here, Dara? I know I ask you that all the time, but I mean, I'll completely sympathise with you trying to bring a prediction up out of this lot, because anything can happen here.
I mean, look at it. I mean, there's cars down to Ascari. I mean, what can you even... Right, okay. I'm going to pick a name out of... I'm going to close my eyes, scroll up and down my timing page. It is going to be Barry Wenman who wins the race, crowd. Barry Wenman. Barry
Wenman. Well, starting 17th on the grid, 14th in class. Steve Rubino has gone off the circuit. Interesting. I will apologise in advance if you see any of the timing screens moving about a bit tonight. That's simply due to the distance between these cars in this one this evening. But as the lights come on and we'll go out, we get underway for round number 5 of the SimRacing International GT3 Championship on a Thursday night. And it's Jan Ostberg leading now Dean Sheasby towards the banking for the very first time. And hold your breath because it begins, everybody.
Yep, and it's crazy already. Too wide momentarily in the background. They're just trying to sort it out. You don't want to be across that yellow line because that really, the bottom side of the car is not going to enjoy it. Bouncing over Scott Kostrick, cars wiggling about. It's just not comfortable at all. But it looks like it's gone all right for everyone so far through the first turn.
Yeah, it looks like Steve Hughes has dropped down the order. I'm not quite sure what's happened to him, whether it's just down to the sim not rendering him in. But look at this lead group here as they head around 2 by 2. It's Jan Osberg and Craig Hewlett for the lead. They're trying to stay this side of the yellow line. Goodness me, they are very close to one another around there. I think the agreement is that if you're going to go below the yellow line, you stay below it. And if you're above it, you stay above it. You don't switch over part way around the banking. But look at this lot. This is the lead gaggle, and it is all screaming down to turn 1 as if they had the rolling start on the quote-unquote normal Grand Prix circuit. Oh, my God.
This is insane. 2, 3 wide in towards the opening chicane. 4 wide, really. It's just like a car park down there. Oh, it's worse.
It's happened.
Stopping through turn 1 and 2. There's Victor van Zeist, the championship leader around. He had a awful time at Miami, and he just has to sit there and watch 50 cars drive past him.
Jan Osberg and Craig Hewlett fighting for the race lead, then side by side down into the De La Roggia chicane. Hewlett does get in front for a moment, but Jan Osberg says no thank you, I'll take that back. Hewlett gets a fantastic run on the exit down towards the first of the Lesmos. In the background there as well, you can see Simon Clifton having a go at some of these guys trying to get through on the Porsche of Philip Harris. He's on the inside line side by side with Robin Aston. He's on the outside line, and now look at that, back down the inside of him comes Robert Savage. Is it going to be a Savage move? We'll have to wait and see. 2 by 2 as they exit the second Lesmo. God, it is action stations up and down the order. We are... Whoa! In the wall! In the wall goes Robert Savage. What on earth happened there? McLaren involved. Hopefully they don't bounce across. Oh no. Oh dearie me. Barry Wenman involved.
Oh!
More cars not slowing down in the background. Oh, people are trying to crawl through and no. It's just come to a stop. Oh, it's absolute nightmare fuel. Absolute nightmare fuel, Dara. We'll have to try and figure out what the hell happened there. But it looked to me... God, I can't even get back far enough. It won't let me. There were so many involved straight off the bat. It was just nuts. It was Savage, wasn't it, that went off and then ended up in the wall.
Yeah, I mean, somehow, well, you called it live as it begun. Just from the onboard, it's exactly how it unfolded. I can tell you for a fact that we've had, well, there are 7 Premier drivers well off the pace, and only a couple of Egos. So actually, not too many cars have come into the pit lane yet, but then again, not all of them have got there just yet. It has been a little bit of an attritional start, clearly, but it's kind of what we feared would happen, but not necessarily the place we expected to.
No, I'm just going to see now. We're going to start flicking back through here, so you'll see certain bits of this, and you'll see, look, there's the mayhem in front, and whoa, straight off the bat. I mean, that is way too late for Phil to be slowing down there. He's hit the back of a BM. That Porsche on the left, who on earth was that? They went steaming in on the left-hand side. That Porsche was just completely out of control on the left there. We're going to go further to another view. This is James Fraser. James comes to a stop almost. Yes, he slows it down. Oh dear. And he sneaks through on the right-hand side. Nicely done that by James. Really, really well done. See more of it here from Nathan Healy. So, oh, there's some drama here as well, actually, by the look of it. I think Healy had an accident at the second Lesmo. He was having trouble with the car through here in practice. Yeah, he's had a bit of a slide there. Back on, and then they're going to come across this massive incident a bit further down the line. You can see brake lights, you can see brake lights. He's not broken anywhere near early enough there as Nathan. He was flat out into the back of the McLaren. I don't mean to be doing live stewarding, but at the end of the day, it's our jobs to, you know, watch this and commentate. This was the drama down at turn 1. Joshua Downing with huge damage to his car. That's already been broken. That's been destroyed. I can't find the moment, you know, where the incident all started.
Who were we on board with?
Robert Savage. So it was this battle, actually. This is where it all started. So watch the McLaren behind. I think the McLaren is to blame here, with no mean to sort of point fingers or blame, but no, there's contact with the Mercedes. And then the McLaren loses it, and that's where the McLaren comes from. And then cars behind, I think Bostock gets absolutely smashed into. The 114 car. No, it's John Ludbrook. John Ludbrook gets absolutely battered by the car behind him. Who's that that's with him? It's the 115. Thomas Weston was just behind all this as well. I think he probably had a good view of this. I'm trying to find him now because everyone's so mixed up in the order. I do apologise, everybody, but... So Ludbrook starts slowing down, and that Type 2 Porsche just steams in. Goodness me. Goodness me.
Who was the Mercedes there then? Can we get an onboard of them?
Was it Simon Clifton? Yes.
It was. Because he did... It was like he just
doesn't turn left.
Like, sleepily drifted across, right? Didn't seem aggressive, didn't seem malicious, just seemed like a sleepy walk. Yeah, he just hasn't turned left to follow the car, to follow the track. That's as simple as it is. It's a really, really simple but incredibly costly mistake. And I guess luckily for Simon, he can well, he can drive away from the absolute carnage he's caused.
Rob Mackay, one of the stewards here, arriving on the scene to watch this accident unfold. The thing is, it was almost done there, and then it carried on behind them. So it just got worse, basically. Look at this, Matt Stace basically coming to a stop here. You can hear the transmission whine in the Mercedes. I want to know who that Porsche was on the outside there. The 194 car was just not slowing down. That was Mark Kent. He just went barreling in. Let's have a look. This is right. Look at this. So the incident is starting about now, which is just mental. Because this is, like, I've clicked this, so in about 3 seconds, Robin Aston has just gone off the circuit now, out of that Lesmo, and the accident has begun. And Mark Kent, I mean, I'm not saying he's had this long to react, but this is how far back it affected other cars. I don't think Mark is looking to slow down. Oh, he just loses it, and then he's out of control. He's on the throttle for a second there, and it just won't stop. Hits the McLaren, hits another car, and oh, dearie me, Mark. That's not going to look good on the CV, that one. But Simon Clifton was just, well, Simon Drifton.
You had 5 minutes to come up with something, and that's what you came up with. That's incredible.
I'm awful, Dara. It's a miracle I get paid.
But yeah, I mean, back to live pictures, of course. 8 minutes into the race, only 3 laps will have elapsed when they come around the final corner here. But still, we have this front group of cars quite close together. There is, of course, that big gap between Simon Clifton and Hussein Sarkis. I can't imagine why. It's about 14, 15 seconds between those guys, even though it's only 8 seconds between, or 6 seconds between the top 8, I should say. They're running at about 2:42s early on. One thing to mention about the long lap as well is that the fact that we have a longer lap here means that pit stop window is going to be that much narrower, because it's so much more difficult to save an extra 10 k's of fuel. You know, and you don't want to go too early as well. So I don't think we're going to be seeing too much strategy happen in this race.
No, it's like when you race at the Nürburgring. You only ever get like one lap swing either way when a strategy is on. It's not going to be a case of people are pitting 4 or 5 laps later, or even more than that. Interested to see how many people are staying below the yellow line here. You know, Robin Aston right down low. But would you look at that up the road there? Jan Osberg is now getting back up to Dean Sheasby. But if we go on board with John Treen, he is almost pushing Daniel Meller down the straight. It is a scary sight anyway, is that Mustang, but when it's that close to you, oh my word, I don't think I'd be comfortable if I was Dan right now. Onto the brakes they go, just about the 200-metre board. Dean Sheasby very friendly there with Jan Osberg, and Dean defends that one very aggressively and says no thank you. Side by side there, Robin Aston. Whoa, bye-bye, says Philip Harris. Elbows him out of the way. Rob won't be too chuffed with that one, I don't think. And look at the momentum that he's lost as a result out of that chicane. Jan Nage is the next car behind these guys, and he leads in the Evo class. He's actually got Danny Weir next up behind him, but I mean, based on the switch so far, the Vulcan fasteners by Glasstec Racing Cars, they've changed to the Porsches, and they're loving it, aren't they? Bad look of it.
Yeah, and Jan's in a great place here, isn't he? He's got so much space back to Danny Weir, who is away from the rest, and that's the important thing, that those two are kind of clear of everyone as it stands at the moment. But it's about trying to maintain those margins. Jan is, again, in a spot where if he can hold on to this pace, if he can keep up some decent pace, he doesn't have to match what the Premier drivers are doing. As long as he just maintains, you know, within a few tenths of Danny Weir per lap, we're only going to be getting 24, 25 laps maybe in this race. Not loads, even though it is an hour. So even if you are within 2 or 3 tenths a lap, it's not going to matter for Jan. It's just about making sure he's consistent enough. Yeah,
that's the thing. I think, much like the championship so far, I think consistency is going to be the most important aspect of this race. I think there's going to be a few drivers in here that may be the quickest or some of the quickest on the circuit tonight, but they just don't have the consistency to see it through. Mark Kent is he's gonna flash in and out of this here, I think, because unfortunately he was down on the timing screen. Actually, in fact, we're gonna give that a miss. Basically, because some of the field are so far around the other side of the circuit, due to the length of the circuit, it's not rendering them all in all the time. Here's Dean Sheasby. We're going to look back from Dean now and see the scary sight of just how much these Porsches are claiming their ground back in the slipstream. Look at the sparks clinging off the front of it. Look at that from Jan Osberg. Dean just needs to do the sensible thing here and stay in a straight line. Don't move around. Oh, I tell you who's scaring me right now, and I don't think it'll take much to guess. It's Philip Harris. Moving around a lot, and he made a bit of a boisterous move on the... It was Robin Aston, wasn't it, in the chicane on the previous lap. Phil just needs to keep his head here. Look at just... Oh, you were absolutely right, Dara. It pinches up so much there. It's terrifying.
Yeah, and that banking on the bottom is, you know, as
Dean.
bumpy as road in Bedfordshire, quite frankly. It's not fun at all. Inside line for Dean. He did it last lap. Is he going to be able to replicate it once again? He's going to try and make sure there's no line around the outside for Jan Osberg. But Jan just about keeps his nose in for turn 2. Good exit is required for both of these drivers if they want to claim P4 and try and keep themselves close enough with Hewlett, Mellor and Trina. Really, Mellor and Trina with the next 2 up the road because Hewlett is gone. But Jan Osberg's just clinging on with a fingernail, isn't he, at the moment? Is he going to set it down the inside? He's, well, almost certainly going to do so now.
Big lift there from Philip Harris and a bit of a rub from Jan Osberg, a bit unnecessary, but he says, yeah, go on then, I'll go through. Thank you very much, Dean. Now, if we know Dean, he's not going to take that one lying down at all. I was interested to find out that Dean is a Warhammer player, actually. I found that out after last week. Someone made a reference to Warhammer. I said I'll hear no such slander of it. And he told me about the one-page rules element of Warhammer, and yeah, interested to know. But I suppose we never know these people really outside of the screens that we watch them on. Toby Hardiak trying to come back through the order. He's just got past Stuart Rice, who was an early leader in the Evo Championship. Daniel Mellor has just gotten a slowdown penalty through Ascari. That's going to harm him. It's going to harm John Treen as well if he doesn't serve it respectfully. He was a bit in the way there, to say the least. John Treen going through on the right-hand side. This is all helping Craig Hewlett. On a circuit like this, you wouldn't have expected somebody to be a bit of a runaway leader, but that's exactly what we've got with Craig Hewlett right now. The Porsches are going very well around here, as we expected, as we saw at Daytona. The Porsche's got really good top-end speed without slipstream, so that's how Craig can do it. It's not something really that the Porsche has ever been known for in GT3 racing. It's just always been known as a good all-rounder, not the fastest one in a straight line. It's never really been one of its strong points. The Mercedes used to be the big grunt machine in the long straights, but we've got these two, and then up the road we've got Craig Hewlett, and he is, well, for lack of a better phrase, gone.
Yeah, I mean, 3.5 seconds, nearly 4 now, and he's just going faster and faster. His best lap time was a 42.7. No one else is in, it's a 2:42. No one else is in those 2:42s anywhere on the circuit. So he is just in a class above the rest right now. Daniel Mellor. I mean, you'd think as well that with the slipstream that these guys can pick up off of each other, they'd be able to work together to try and close that gap down over the course of time. But it's just eking out rather than coming down, and we're already now a quarter of the way into this race, and it doesn't feel like anything's moved on that dial.
No, it doesn't seem like much is changing. It's giving him a bit of a push, but you've got to be so careful when you're doing that in GT3 cars, and especially when you're doing it off-centre as well. If you hit a corner of that car, rather than hitting it flat, you could spin the thing, so you really need to mind out. Jan Osberg, him and Dean have been rubbing panels into braking zones over the last few laps here, and if they both continue, I'm not necessarily sure it's on Dean's part. I think Jan is squeezing him quite a bit here, but if he continues to do so, it's just going to get more and more painful, and one of them is going to have an incident. There's an interesting shot. Cars coming into the first chicane, cars in the background going onto the banking. Very interesting to see. Bit of a move going on in the background here. It's Chris Petty in the 91 Porsche. It was him that we couldn't figure out earlier on. It's ironic really, because it's a camouflage car, but it was him that was hiding in the background previously. So much to look at here, Dara. I don't know where to look, to be honest with you, but we need to stick towards the front simply for the reasons of the timing, not being a pain in the backside. But we're showing you all as much as we can here. There's a lot to look at. I know that we received some feedback previously about the fact we only look at the leaders, but we want to look at least class leaders. There's no battle going on really for Jan Nage, but Danny Weir, Denny Plurger, Stuart Rice next up. They're not all too far apart. These two battling for third place, while Hammond and Pornier have a scrap here. But yeah, we'll try and get as many battles on screen as we can, but I mean, you know it as well, Dara, it's not easy because there's so much to see.
Yeah, when there's 51 cars circulating the racetrack, you know, there's always going to be side-by-sides on moments happening, and we're never going to be able to catch it all. We can just only try and catch what we think could be developing. And especially when there's points in the line, those battles are often what we try and look for, but, you know, very sorry to everyone, but we're never going to be able to catch every single overtake. I think we've all been there, haven't we? We've all gone back and looked at a broadcast hoping to see an overtake that we made, and it just isn't there. But yeah, there's too much to look at and not enough time to do so, is there?
No,
with only an hour's worth of a race to go. Dean is still kissing the back of Jan Osberg. Again, Valentine's Day is next week. It's not quite this weekend, so I think, you know, jumping the gun a little bit for the time being, but I can't imagine Jan's comfortable with listening to the banking.
No, it's not going to be something that's pleasant, but I mean, look, Dean as far as I know, isn't lifting. And that Porsche is so fast. He's really struggling to catch up to him in a straight line. He's had a bit of a lift there just to make sure he's off the back of him before they go on to the banking. One thing I've not enjoyed that I've just seen Daniel Mellor do up there is a car coming up from the bottom line. I know they do it to get back in front, and maybe they are going to work together to try and catch up to the race leader. But it's just, I really don't like seeing a car go up from one line to another. You know, even if they are clear and they know they're clear, if you're still a little bit close, it's still very scary. You know, it's terrifying for the other car. Dean was a bit late on the brakes there. Looked like he was going to go into the back of the Porsche. He might get a cutback on him here, though, on the exit. No, it's not worked this time round. Philip Harris also sticking on the back of these guys as well. Fantastic scraps, though, between these guys. And it's very fair racing as well. Everybody's very close. There's a lot of pairs out there, and even trios, look. But they're keeping it respectful. Touch wood for now.
Yeah, and it's still right towards turn 1 for Toby Hardiek in this battle. We'll cover off that line towards turn number 1. The two behind him side by side of Lewis Hammond and Robin Pawnee. Pawnee had a great week, didn't he, in Miami 7 days ago. P11 for the time being. Will be looking to try and get himself back towards the top 10. But, you know, again, not even a third of the way through this race. He's already 31 seconds off the race lead here. The gaps have opened up quite wide, which is intriguing, really. Yes, we did have that big pile up at the start, and that did separate people out. But a circuit where, I mean, to be 2 minutes 40 long, there's only 10 corners, if that. So there's not a load of time to gain and lose time. A lot of what I would call dead time around this circuit, where you're just sat at full throttle, waiting to get to the next braking zone, where you can't gain or lose too much. But yeah, we are seeing some of these gaps develop early on, which is not exactly what we'd necessarily expect.
Andrew Larkman was going on to the back straight, and he has called it quits. He has given up, which is a shame to see, really. It's not something we look at lightly here. We don't like to see drivers pack it in. We understand that, you know, it can be a bit demoralising if you're running around on your own all race, and, you know, if you're having a bad time. And it's fair enough, you know, to stop yourself getting overly angry or to not drive with red mist in your mind. It's better to pull over, call it a night before you do anything silly. But yeah, it's always a shame to see a driver call it quits, especially this early on. I think that's the bit I'm getting at here. Is we're only a third of the way through an hour-long race. There's plenty of time still to go.
Oh yeah, loads of time for this race to develop and for storylines still to emerge. Still 2/3 of the race left to run. As we see once again, Osberg, Sheesby, Harris all going towards that second part of banking together. And it's never fun, is it? I mean, from this angle as well, you see how fast they're going around this banking and how quickly everything's disappearing, and the sparks and the movement in the lines. It just doesn't look safe, does it? No wonder we don't get this kind of racing anymore.
I mean, look at the speed of them going past on the left-hand side there. This is Andy Chell coming on to the banking while the other guys go past on the left. It's one of the only circuits in the world where you get that sort of, I don't know, that crossover between drivers on one part of the track and drivers on one part of the other bit. And it's, yeah, it's interesting. But the speed difference is just mental. That's the thing. These guys are doing nearly 180 miles an hour there, and the rest of them just coming out of the parabolic are getting up to about 160. And you see the time difference, the speed difference is just mad. Absolutely mad. Dean Sheesby has apparently got a funny roof on his car or something. Not quite sure. I can't see anything there. I can see something, but I'm not sure my chopper cam is going to pick it up, to be honest with you. So I can only apologise. I don't really want to go on what I call a cringe camera like the Far Chase or anything like that. But if you can, Liam, if you can explain to us what it says, that'd be great.
There's a couple of colours.
Yeah.
Yeah, I can't see them. Either way, he's not looking at it either. It's on his roof. Nathan Healy is still involved. There's a few drivers, I think, when we looked at the championship at the start of the broadcast. A few drivers that just kind of are milling about, and they're not necessarily challenging week on week for top 3s, but they're there for top 5s, top 7s. And I think for him, where he is now, P14 is going to be a little bit disappointing. He'll want to work his way up the order a touch, and he is only a couple of seconds behind the likes of Toby Hardiek. So there is range and chance for a few of these guys to move up the order, particularly in the mid-pack, where, yeah, there aren't great points, but consistent, important points for championship challenge.
Yeah, 100%. Got to be in it to win it at the end of the day. And a lot of these drivers are still very much in it and very much in with a chance of winning it. It's nice to see a number of the Mercedes out there on track, actually. We've got Hardiak, Pioneer and Vivas all together, and then Rob Mackay in the background as well. A few of the Mercs going pretty well, it seems, in the order right now, as Sheesby and Philip Harris scaring the life out of each other as they go down one of many back straights that we have here at Monza combined. Just listening. Oh, they go screaming past. It's so cool. It's just a shame about the sparks and the I don't know what update it was recently that iRacing did, but a change to the backfire effects and the sparks mean that they sort of show through the car no matter what angle you're looking at it from, which is a bit of a shame. Whoa, Harris not just scaring us and Sheesby, but scaring Robin Aston as well. Side by side in towards turn 1 they go, and then hard onto the brakes. Aston's a little bit later. Is he going to hit Sheesby? Needs to be careful not to. Around the outside goes Harris. Oh, Harris turns in, but yeah, Rob went a little bit deep there. John Treen has ended up with a slowdown penalty just up the road. Rob just went a little bit deep. Just made that tiny bit of contact there, Dara, but they get away with it. Just means that they're going to lose the cars ahead now.
Yep, and that's going to be really important, isn't it? Because we've talked about how good the slipstream and how key it is to have the slipstream in this race, and they're now in a position where that is not going to help them out at all. I mean, for Mellor and Treen, they've fallen back into the realm of this group of cars. As you can see, just up in front, side by side, that's Jan Osberg to the inside line on John Treen, who loses one, loses another spot. He's gone from the battle for second to now down to fifth. And all in the blink of an eye. He had a slowdown penalty as well, but these things can change very quickly, and you'd feel that, you know, normally that people could try and catch up to Mellor now with the slipstream helping them each other out, but we saw from Craig Hewlett that he was able to pull away. Can Mellor do the same?
He's going to be hoping to, but this is a fantastic quintet of cars right now, and Mellor will be keeping an eye on that on his relative, and he'll try and keep an eye on who sort of raises to the top of it, because I know that when you're ahead of a big scrap and you think there's some fast guys in that group, you do keep an eye on who's leading it and think about, will they break away, or will they be a driver enough, you know, to lead that group up to me? It is very much a sort of symptom of sim racing that people keep an eye, especially on iRacing, on their relative box as it's known, to see how far other cars are behind, as the UKSR Norris machine flying past on the left hand side there. Big orange Mustang going much quicker than this lot. Jan Osberg now holding on to what is effectively a podium spot in third position. Dean Sheesby, John Treen, Robin Aston and Philip Harris right behind. We hope you're enjoying the show here tonight on the SimRacing International GT3 Thursday Night Championship. We have a hell of a battle going on here at Monza combined, and it is scary. If I was John, I wouldn't be pushing that, because I'm sure Dean is in a very uncomfortable position. He needs to back out. John needs to back out. John doesn't want to back out. Oh, that's so scary. Hold your breath. I'm glad I'm not a steward. Hold your breath. Think happy thoughts. Oh my God. And breathe for a moment.
Yeah, before they go 3 wide into turn 1, right? Here we go. Here's Dean Sheesby to the inside. Where does John Treen go? Does he follow the inside line? Does he follow the outside line? He can't quite make it 3 wide. There's just not enough room down towards turn 1. And in the end, Dean doesn't even really go for it either. So after all of that, nothing's happened, Chaz.
Yay!
I wonder how long that could go on for.
Yeah. Story of my life. After all that, nothing. Philip Harris seems to have lost a bit of ground to these guys, actually, out of that first chicane. Now he needs to focus on clawing that back over the rest of the lap. Interestingly enough, Craig Hewlett at the front of the order, he's now 5 seconds clear, and he did a purple sector 3 on that previous lap. Jan Osberg has just got himself a slowdown penalty, so he needs to be careful about how he serves this. He's obviously gained a bit from it, because he's a few car lengths ahead of Dean Sheesby now, but he will, I'm sure, be serving that in just a moment. Hopefully, oh, he's actually served it very well, very conservatively. But I was going to say, if he does serve it anytime soon, I hope he does it respectfully and not in the way of other drivers. We've both seen it before, where drivers will serve a slowdown penalty and just basically block somebody else that's trying to get through, and it's just not the nice way to do it. We look at Matt Stace. I hope he knows which way to go around this circuit, because it's certainly not your normal racetrack, is it? He's currently following fellow V8 powered machine of Matt Hunter, and he in the Simcast racing team is actually chasing down his teammate David Pilcher as well. Pilcher hoping to use that BMW to his advantage, as Craig Hewlett, race leader, into the pits. And now that is not a surprise, is it, Dara? Because being at the front, no chance to save fuel.
No, none at all, but coming in just before half race distance, let's hope that's not a a sign of things to come. Hopefully he was just planning this one slightly early, rather than having to think about maybe doing a splash and dash at the end. It wouldn't imagine so, because they should used to be able to do 30 minutes. But this is going to be the most fuel guzzling track that we use all season long. Of that there is no doubt at all. So yeah, interesting to see how that's going to work, because there are a few drivers in, but not many. John Train, Simon Clifton, two of those as well. But it's left Mellor and Osberg now at the front of the field. Cheespeed now in P3, of course, all notionally, before they make their pit stops. But you wouldn't feel like it's going to be a long time before they do.
No, I think maybe this lap, actually, if anything. If they're that close on fuel, like we said earlier, there's not going to be many laps swing either direction on the strategies. Jan Osberg holding on in front of Dean Sheesby. This battle continuing on again. This time Dean, he's going to push him again. You could see him thinking about it there. He was weaving left and right a little bit. Do I go for the move? Do I not? Liam Fraser says that he thinks Craig Hewlett had a drive-through. He did not, mate. He stopped in the box for 30 seconds. And John Treen and Simon Clifton stopped for exactly the same time, 28:38. Craig Hewlett now has slipstream from Michael Rhodes, and he is making hay and getting ahead. He needs to use that pace now and crack on. Just addressing Liam in the chat again, you mentioned you like Dean Sheesby's roof. Unfortunately, we don't have a camera to show it off, but what does it say? Spill the beans, sir. Either way, lovely to see the Corvette still able to compete with these Porsches. It's reversing itself slowly to the Porsche Cup we saw a few seasons ago, Dara.
Yeah, it is. And it is nice as well that we do get a variation of cars in this series. You know, years gone by, you had a GT3 series, everybody was in the same car, because the BAP didn't work out too well. So it's great that we've got to a stage in iRacing where there's A, loads of options that you can choose from, and B, they all feel relatively competitive.
Yes.
I bet Harris gets that spot. We've got Ben Aston just behind. But this is the most dominant race for Porsche I can remember seeing in ESR and what it is now as SRI, of course, in recent seasons. The Porsche has just not been able to have that top-end speed. You said it's the old faithful, it's the reliable, middle-of-the-road car that kind of does everything you want, and you feel safe in it. But you don't necessarily feel like you're going to get that top-end performance, but it's working beautifully around this circuit. And after half of this race has elapsed, to have 4 of the top 5 momentarily a minute ago in the Premier class and all of the top 5 in Evo is just not something we see regularly.
No, it's really not. And it does show you that it's the car to have. We know it's got good straight line speed, and that was its real sort of calling card at Daytona as well. But right now it is just such a fantastic machine around here. It's hard to argue with it. Nathan Healy, speaking of a great machine, he's one of the only Lamborghinis, if not one of 2 Lamborghinis out there tonight, and it's his teammate actually, Dwayne Hoffman, that is in the other one. He's gained, well, until now, he'd gained the most places in the race, I believe, 24. No, James Pallett, 28 places gained in that very subtle McLaren 720S GT3 Evo. He's got another very subtle McLaren right behind him in the form of Gareth Newton in the GPX SimSport Xenon car. These two, I think he's making it clear that he's coming in. Is James Pallett? Yes, moves all the way over to the right-hand side, slows down nice and early, makes sure that he keeps it tidy on his way into the pit lane. Craig Hewlett, then, the race leader, or was race leader, is suddenly in a very low downforce spec.
Yeah, let's have a look. In towards the final corner, Craig Hewlett.
It's gone.
3. Going on. Oh, yeah.
Now, what scares me there is he's... Oh, no, Craig. Oh, Craig, mate. Well, we saw a bit of a clumsy moment from Craig at Miami, down the inside on the brakes, smashed into multiple cars. I think that was even more clumsy, letting it roll back that far. He did the right thing in trying to get the car out of the way. Fair play to him, you know, he was trying to get it off the racing line just in case anybody ran wide out of the final corner. but he's ruined his own race. It may be rapid in a straight line now, though, but didn't really gain him time, did it?
No, fun on the banking as well now. That's not going to be
God.
an easy car to handle. Yeah, it's just little moments like that. And I mean, the iRacing with spectator damage that we get, it can be impressive just to see parts of the car fall off. And that's a moment in which it just falls off. But it doesn't fall off without contact, right? You can just tell something's happened when we do see parts of the car just disappear, even if with the slightest amount of contact. So, yeah, really disappointing for him, and that's going to... Well, I mean, it's ruined his race, really, isn't it? Completely. Yeah,
absolutely. Rob Aston coming into the pit lane right now. Philip Harris, we're just focusing on him because he did the fastest lap of the race last time round. They're in the 2-minute 43s at the moment. Faster than just about everybody except for Jan Osberg, who did a 2:43.1. Quickest driver of these lot on that lap, and I imagine quickest driver out of everybody because he doesn't have anyone to think about, anyone to battle with. But at the moment it is Jan and Jan leading for their respective teams. Well, the same team in Premier and in Evo, but obviously that is not as it will be when all the pit stops are completed. It's Jan Osberg, Dean Sheasby and Philip Harris, the top three all together in the Premier class right now. Jan Nage, Danny Weir and Chris Petty. But everybody is coming down the pit lane now, Dara. It is getting very, very busy, as you can see. Many cars coming in now to make use of their stops. And about a 30-second stop as well to ensure they get enough fuel. That shows you just how thirsty the cars have to be around here.
Yep, they really have to be, well, guzzling through that fuel, quite frankly, because your foot is on that floor for some time around this lap. And if it's not, well, you're going to be finding yourself losing quite a lot of the time. Heavy acceleration zones, such long straights. I mean, realistically, from the exit Parabolica until turn 1 is when you'd normally go full throttle in the cars around Monza. You just got to add another, 4Ks onto a loop of just putting your foot to the floor and, praying as you go around that banking. So, yeah, it really will eat up the fuel quickly. And we're already into the second half of the race. We're only on to lap 13. But we are firmly into the second half. That's because how this race has gone.
Yeah, it's mad, isn't it? Absolutely mad. Just intriguing that we've had that few laps, but that's what I like about longer racing circuits. I mean, whenever anybody races at the Nürburgring, all the more. It's just great to see how many laps you get out of a race. Thomas Weston making his way around the banking in the Porsche. We had a little discussion about what colour that Porsche is last time round, but certainly goes well. He's making his way up to the back of the BMW now. He's got the McLaren well tucked into his slipstream. Look at that 720S go. That's Grant Miller, one of the biggest movers so far in this race, gained 25 places. 27 places gained for Pete Piver. He's actually just swapped with Robin Pownier as well. Side by side just behind them there as well. Toby Hardiek in the middle of this. This is the aforementioned Robin Pownier and Pete Piver battle. Hardiek and Barry Wenman, who Dara has still got to win this race. Yeah. Right together. Love the sound of the McLaren. It's such a weird sounding V8, but it is a good noise. Importantly though, Dara, leaders are in.
They are indeed in. Oh, goodness me, that was aggressive, wasn't it? Osberg, Sheasby and Harris all coming in at the same time. Hammond should be in soon as well. Then Mellor should be able to come through and retake the net race lead, or will he? Because Robin Aston's right there. Interesting to see how this pans out, of course. Race really opens up after that huge mistake that we saw out of the final corner from our one-time race leader, our long-time race leader even. So, yeah, that'll obviously be weighing on the mind a touch. Jan Nage into the pit lane as well for the Evo class, and it'll be a case of how far ahead of Danny Weir does he come out. Yeah, absolutely. Jan Nage commanding lead so far in the Porsche. Certainly chose the right time to change to it, didn't he? As the season gets to its halfway point. But right now it is the GPX cars first and second. There is the McLaren coming out of the pit lane, but there are the cars ahead on the banking. Now, are they going to be able to catch up enough? Dean Sheasby has stayed to the inside line. Philip Harris is on the outside line. God, the bumps are aggressive round there.
It's going to be brave stuff for Daniel Mellor. He goes down low, nearly hits Philip Harris, but you know what? He's made the most of it. Look at the speed of this thing now. Into the slipstream. Harris comes over to the right. Aston goes even further over to the right. That is brave stuff, boys. I don't know if it's brave or stupid. 3 wide, around the banking. There's contact between Sheesby and Harris. It was started by Rob Aston, you could argue, but I mean, any of them had a chance to back out of it. Philip Harris, luckily, the one in the end that does, and out of all of them, I expected him to be the last one to back out of that. Sheesby now pushing the GPX car down the straight. He gives slipstream to his teammate. You can't move around too much, Dean. There's a wall there, mate. Smashes into the side. Oh, he's moving around a lot. You only really want to make one move. It's like when you think about braking zones or when you're defending. But he was weaving around a hell of a lot there, and the only one that ended up in the wall was himself.
Yeah, it's not going to help him out too much. I mean, all of this battling, I think Jan would have been looking in his wing mirrors, just trying to pull away and get away from everybody else, but he's not been able to do it quite yet. I mean, the fact that we have 5 cars within a second, well, within 2 seconds at the front of the field as we get into towards the final third of the race, it means that there is really a good chance that any one of these guys could win the race. And with the championship as open as it feels right now, all of them, I think, are in with a great chance of pushing on in terms of the championship. This is going to be the halfway point in the season once we finish off tonight's race, and so to be able to beat yourself into a good position going into that second half of the season is going to be absolutely key.
It really will be. I'm intrigued whether Moonshiners Racing Club actually have an affiliation with Hertz or Puma, because the car looks so good with the branding on. I don't know if it's actually a true affiliation. I'm intrigued. There's a number of teams that run logos and all sorts of people. You know, they'll run the logo of the company that one of the drivers works for example, or you know, a company of a technology brand that someone's got a sim racing wheel from, things like that. It's always interesting to see the logos and things on cars. It's something I'm a huge nerd about, is logos and colour schemes. I'm just intrigued because the Moonshiners Racing Club certainly have pace and capability in this category. James Fraser currently running in 5th place in class, just ahead of Chris Petty. He's not going to see him coming, is he? He's got Nathan Healy just behind him in the Lamborghini. He'll definitely see that thing coming. It's like the Batmobile, but on some performance enhancements. Love this camouflage, actually. It looks like a combination of Splinter camo and Swedish M90 camouflage. Oh, God, I'm proving I'm a nerd now, aren't I? Look, race cars.
Many race cars. Many race cars.
We're going off the bandwagon.
I know, and we've still got 20 minutes to go. I believe. Robin Aston's going to try and make a move around the outside here on Dean Sheesby. Dean's going to have that low line.
He's not. He's going to stay up high despite having a car next to him.
Yeah, I mean, I guess it worked out in the end, but that was not comfortable. He's still looking at the barrier. If he was really driving this car right now, in real life, he would be nowhere near as high as he was there, because he would have been petrified, quite frankly.
Yeah, you'd see him painting it brown as he went round along it, to be honest, wouldn't you? Yeah. It's terrifying.
Down the side of the car.
I said earlier that Craig, what is Dean doing?
Oh.
Dean Sheesby, you wind me up, you do. I don't know what he was doing there. He tried to sort of fake a move, and then he actually sort of convinced himself he was doing it. Craig Hewlett's got his rear wing back on, by the way. He's had his fast repair, and he's doing fastest laps now. He's quicker than Robin Pownier by an entire second on that previous lap. And look at this. He's just going to drive past him on the right-hand side. Screaming down on that right. Hopefully Pownier knows he's there and doesn't try and tuck out from behind the Corvette. But Hewlett is on an mission right now, to say the least. And down the inside, Hewlett takes 2 for 1, or does he? No, Klaas Wellen says no thank you. But look at the punch out of the corner. Hewlett gets a lovely run, and Wellen does his best to slot back in, but there's a big old Mercedes there. Don't close the door on him. Whoa, hello. That was tasty. Very tasty, but they continue on. Like I say, fastest lap of the race last time round by Craig Hewlett. But the one that scared me was Dean Sheesby with his little move down the inside. That was petrifying.
Yeah.
Whoa! There he goes.
Oh!
There's one. There's one for the photo album.
Perfectly timed as well. You know when you get you know, there's compilations online where you just get perfectly cut screens.
Yeah.
I think we've just run the list. We had a nice pause, and then
whoop.
hello.
Exit stage right, Dean Sheesby.
Yeah, couldn't have written that any better. Panto season finished a little while ago, but Dean is still there.
Oh no, he isn't.
But now, well, sadly for him, he's behind the rest of them.
It's Daniel Miller. He's behind you.
He's behind you. How many Panto jokes can we make in 18 minutes?
No. All I can remember, we're at that point of this race tonight. Everyone, welcome to the show. All I can remember from one of the only Pantos I've ever been to is a song about "There's a hole in my bucket" or something like that.
Dear Liza.
Yeah.
You never heard that song outside of the Panto?
It's not exactly in my Spotify liked. I think it was on my.
I know. The Panto song. What is it?
I know what you were going to say as well. Oh man, no, it's hardly up there. It's not on my my weekly recommended. Oh goodness.
Daily Mix 1.
Yeah, it's just pantomime songs the whole way. Yeah. Not even that. It's just sound bites of an audience saying, "Oh no, he isn't." 10 hours on YouTube. That's coming up next on SimRacing International.
If you don't want to listen to us talk about pantomimes, you can watch Paul Walsh on A-Split.
Yeah.
Probably talking about the race.
Paul will be talking about the race, and he will be for the next 3 hours as well, I'm sure.
Because he's a consummate professional, and we are not.
Yeah, we are. I was going to say children, but you're considerably younger than me. But
I am.
Yeah.
But not a child, so...
No. It's very true. No child labour here. Good God, quick. Robin Aston, 3rd place at the minute. Importantly, teammate to the boss man, James Bostock, who I hope doesn't watch this back. If you do, hi James. Invoices in the post. Yeah.
James isn't racing, he was out on lap 4.
Oh God, he probably is watching.
Hi James.
Hi James, there's your name. Oh, look at him, look how happy he is. See, he can't be angry at us. He's smiling.
I genuinely, and I'm not saying this because of what we're talking about. James genuinely looks like the happiest man of all of the...
he won't be right now. He's thinking, good God, I've paid these idiots. Oh dear. Anyway, Jan Osberg leads the race. Oh, Monza. Jan Osberg leads this race, and he is, out of all cars in the field... Oh, Andrew Fellows is ruining it. Out of all cars except Andrew Fellows in the field, Jan Osberg is the only driver that is currently where he started. And he actually had quite a miserable start as well, didn't he? He lost like 7 places in the first lap or something.
Yeah, that's not bad. It's good that it's good that we do still have a race towards the front of the field in both classes. Danny Weir has brought that gap back to Jan Noj. Jan Osberg is, 10th ahead of Daniel Meller as well. Crazy that we've got Jan versus Danny in Evo. And Jan versus Danielle in the Premier Club. Of all of the drivers on the grid tonight, it's Jan and Dan. Jan and Dan.
Jan and Dan, the man with a plan. Oh, my word. Well,
now, is it going to go disc or is it going to go jockey? That's the question.
If you know what Dara's on about, please let us know.
Yeah. Because it's Dan and yeah.
Oh, mate. Yeah.
It was so bad that I even questioned myself when I said it.
It was so subtle. Unlike this push from Daniel Meller on Jan Osberg's Porsche. Look at the McLaren trying to race him in a straight line. What a silly boy. And look how early Daniel Meller has backed out of that. Fair play to him, though. That's really good to see. We saw really good things from Daniel, actually, at Miami last time out. He hasn't had the chance to race in every round this season, but he really impressed us back at the previous race meeting. And, I mean, he's continuing on with that impressive form right now. Running in second, started 6th on the grid. I have to give a shout out to Toby Hardiak, by the way. Started 28th on the grid. No, not even that, actually. Yeah, 28th on the grid. I can't do maths. But he started 19 places below where he is now. 14 places lower in class as well. And he's currently in 7th position. He's got Stuart Rice in the BMW behind him, distracting him with its god-awful front end. And then he's got Craig Hewlett just behind with Lewis Hammond in there as well. Hammond and Wellen have gone through the field together. 14 places and 10 in class each. So they've made considerable progress. Nathan Healy going really well in that Lamborghini right now. And James Pallett, he's gained 19 places in class. I'm not surprised with the Mercedes power in the rear end of the car. It's Simon Clifton. You've got to be careful they don't put you in a wall. Sorry, Simon, I don't mean it.
And I'm going to stay well out of it, so that I can just claim complete ignorance and say that I have nothing wrong with Simon Clifton, and I think he's having a great battle at the moment.
I was going to say, don't try and sugarcoat this and say he's having a great race. He's down 20 places.
No, he is. Yeah, no, I said great, and then I realised, Paul,
he's not having a great anything. He's having a great push of that McLaren. To be fair,
say he at one point fell off a Clifton.
Yeah.
This race.
Yeah. Oh, he's just made a great move on that McLaren. There you go. Nicely done, Simon. Great opportunism. He's quenched his thirst for positions, you could say, as he gets ahead of James Pallett. But then again, you've got to have that thing in your rearview mirror now. It's like a Mawam, isn't it, chasing you down?
It's a bit, isn't it?
Yeah.
Or like just one of the monsters from Monsters Inc. I feel.
Oh, he's not that cretin with one eye, is he?
No,
he'd be in the corner, hidden behind the overlay. If you get that joke,
his own overlay on the on the name at the bottom. He's got his little logo there, James Pallett.
Yeah, he does, doesn't he? I don't like that. Sort it out, James. Give us a proper image. Sort it out.
You love making friends, don't you?
I do, yeah. I'm such a miserable old man, and I'm only 33. It's just what I do. I come on YouTube and complain at motorsport and how Formula One's a waste of time. There's a thing to open. Although I have to say, this year all the cars so far, except the Audi, look fantastic. And I'm very excited. It's the first time I've been fully excited for an F1 season in quite a while. I really do hope that the new regs change things up. But I'm going to mention it again. I've said it before on an ESR stream and now on SRI. So welcome everyone. Hello, I'm Chaz Draycott. My problem with F1 is, oh no, slow down penalty for Jan Osberg. But the fact that the circuits are being smoothed out and made more simple for Formula 1 to attend. Whereas if it's the pinnacle of motorsport, surely the cars should be the ones adapting, not the tracks. The cars should be adapting to do as well as they can around a circuit that is already made. The circuit shouldn't be adjusted to make life easier for F1 cars. That is wrong. And if you disagree, you're part of the Drive to Survive crowd.
And I think in a way, on your point, it kind of takes away from some of the other series that turn up to those tracks as well.
100%.
I mean, you think about places like Monza, everything comes to Monza. You don't go, I mean, if they could put racing on a Wednesday, they would at Monza, wouldn't they? I mean, there's so many series that come here. When you change for one, you change for all.
Yeah.
And so, it does create those little issues. But
one of the key changes and key circuits that's changed for me is called Albert Park in Australia. Like, they used to have so many heavy braking zones and that scared the life out of me. Big chicanes. But now it's all just smooth and flat out on the sort of back end of the track, and it's just pointless because there's no big braking zones and no overtaking zones. It's just boring. Like it's all just yeah.
Not that we're going on a tangent at all. On Albert Park, I do like what they did with the back of the circuit because they made that right-hander a better overtaking spot. At the end of that double DRS straight.
Yeah.
But I don't understand why they flattened out turn 1 and turn 3 because it took away that overtaking spot. So they gave with one hand and then took with the other, and I just don't know why they did that.
Yeah.
At all. Like the back of the circuit, I think does work better.
I really used to enjoy the. I mean, I remember growing up and watching it with the angle of them getting to. I think it's turn 7. Where they come onto the brakes and it's like
straight,
90-degree right and then out of the complex onto the back straight. It was so cool. But I mean, the other one as well is the Abu Dhabi Yas Marina circuit. Instead of having the chicane before that hairpin at the top end of the circuit, now it's just a straight run to a hairpin. And without that, Max Verstappen wouldn't have won the 2021 Formula 1 World Championship.
But like again with that circuit, turn 5, I think it's a good change because it actually made it was wider. It made an overtaking spot, and that hairpin actually became, it wasn't so concertinaed up, and you could get some overtakes at turn 6. But then they took away that that little chicane at the end of the second straight, which was great. So again, let's give with one hand and take with the other. I just don't understand why they do that. I'm worried that they're going to start, in years to come, changing tracks like Monza, like widening towards turn 1
It'll just be an oval.
Well, exactly. I'm worried that's where they go with that. But I mean, as it is, you can see it now. It's great racing. You get some tight moments at time. Yeah, you get hits and you get little moments where you crash. But that's part of the circuit. That's part of the drama and the challenge of coming to a track like this. So yeah, I hope they don't change too much.
Yeah, fingers crossed. We're just looking here at Jordan Jones. Victor Van Zijst just up the road. Championship leader coming here to Monza was Victor Van Zijst, and he's having another unfortunate evening. He's done a purple sector 1 though on this lap, which is interesting. He's 19th overall and 14th in his class. That is not a performance to defend a championship lead. I'm intrigued by what's going to happen in the final couple of laps with Jan Osberg and Daniel Mellor. Subject to anybody else catching them up, I don't think Philip Harris is going to catch them, or Rob Aston. I'm intrigued, though, to see where Daniel can really launch an attack here, because Jan Osberg is putting that car in the right place at the right time all of the time, and it's going to be very difficult for Mellor to get through on him, but the two of them just need to keep a cool head into these final laps, because Jan may over-defend, Daniel may over-attack. All it takes is for those two concepts to clash, and you'll be looking at maybe a Philip Harris or Rob Aston win.
Yeah, it can be very easy to do, and we've got to be careful of moments like that where Daniel Mellor's just tapping the back of Jan Osberg. They crossed the line with, 7 minutes 30 to go? So we're looking at 3 more laps, I think. Yeah, 3 more laps, including this one to go in this race. It's crazy when you're saying that with 6.5 minutes left on the clock. But
Yeah.
that's where we are. Noj and Weir are right together as well. That's only 4 tenths per second. It's going to come down to the last lap, realistically, isn't it? For both of our class wins. And Danny Weir's done such a good job to claim back all of that time. It was 10 seconds at the start of the race.
Yeah, Danny Weir's done a fantastic job tonight as well. He did a really good job at Miami, but then an unfortunate incident took him out of the running, and that was it. Jan Naj is getting really brave and running it really high, and Danny's just saying, you know what, I'm just going to drive past. He's not even going to sit behind him. He's just saying, all right then, fine, if you're up there, I'm down here. Let's do this. Side by side for the race lead in the Evo class. This is what we came here for. They are almost completely dead. 46 thousandths across the line. And then Danny Weir gets his nose in front, and he's going to take the class lead. Car 1 goes P1 in class, although he's gone deep. Jan Naj can't defend it enough. Danny Weir in the very pretty Dexterous Motorsport Camar car suddenly leads this class, and he's been chipping away at that for a while now, and he's taking it as seriously as his face on his picture. But I tell you, it's working out for him, because, I mean, already Jan hasn't been able to retaliate.
No, and it's going to be interesting to see how, if and how Jan can come back at this one. Danny Weir's already built up about half a second now coming into the Lesmos. Can he pull away just enough to feel safe coming on to the next lap? Nearly a full second now. So, yeah, incredible game really for Danny, and he's put in some great performances this year. He's won some races by over 30 seconds. He's not going to do that tonight, but he's had to work for it.
Absolutely. Love riding on board with this Porsche as well. The sound it makes, combined with just how fast it feels in here. It's just a very busy place to be. And obviously here at Monza as well, with the tight confines of all the trees and the forest around you. Beautiful place to go racing. Big jump over the curb there at Ascari. Uses all the curb on the right-hand side as well. And now we scream down towards the Parabolica. The gap goes up now to 1.1 seconds over Jan Naj. If Danny keeps this sort of pace up through the twisty bits, he'll get out of slipstream range of Jan Naj as well, and the Swede will not be able to do anything about him whatsoever. Onto the start-finish straight he goes then, and cracks on with the next lap. A little bit further behind this, we've got Lewis Hammond, Klaas Wellen and Robin Pownier together. Craig Hewlett is back in the pits again. Not quite sure what that may be for, but he did such a great job to lead by so much earlier. He's going to be a bit devastated with how the rest of this race has gone, isn't he?
You'd feel a touch, wouldn't you? I mean, it was going so well, so well, and it has come undone, right? There's no other way about it. Really frustrating. I mean, I guess the position of the pit lane, but it's not really going to help you, is it? With so little time left on the clock, and then
oh my word,
around at full speed around your outside again. You'd never do that in real life, would you? Realistically, you'd be absolutely bricking it, but as it is, They're all at home, they're in the sim. What's the worst that can happen? A fractured wrist if it all goes wrong, possibly. But as it is, there's 7 of them on the track at the same place at the same time, which is crazy. 57 minutes into a race that's got a track that's 10 k's long.
Yeah, indeed. Victor van Zijst, 3 wide through the middle just a moment ago. They're all wobbling about up there, and you know what? That inside line is really working for those 2 Porsches. Very good stuff there from Craig Hewlett and Denny Plurger. They get right with each other onto the start-finish straight, and Victor van Zijst stays to the right-hand side, stays behind his MJK teammate. Is Nathan Healy going to move out to the right here? I hope not, but he sits behind the Mercedes. Look at Victor van Zijst go. Really good stuff in towards the chicane. Hewlett's going to try and defend this for all he's worth. Carries it around the outside, bit of contact between the Mercedes and the Porsche in the background as well, and it all sorts itself out. Fantastic fun to watch though, so many battles going on all throughout the field right until the end of this race. I do apologise to Craig if he watches this back, because I know he's still listed as a privateer. I never actually got which of the Axis teams he was in, because I know that a lot of them are Axis Sim Sports Z, and that's when they're white and blue, but I don't know what the white and red ones are. It could be X, Y, or any other letter in the alphabet. Jan Osberg, though, he is, please tell me that Fellows has sorted it out, yes. He is now the only driver in this field who started this race in the position he's currently in. And it's the all-important one right at the front. That Lamborghini behind these guys is Dwayne Hoffman and is of no threat to their position. James Fraser has damage and is out of the race. I don't know how long that's been going on. We'll have a look. Oh, he's already got the damage here. Oh, no, James. Oh, Lord. Luckily, not luckily for him, but it rolls back down the hill, because that was pretty scary to say the least, wasn't it? Wow. Let's just see though, because has he already got the damage there? Oh no, I thought he already had the accident, and then that was as a result of losing it because of the damage, but no, that's the accident that caused the damage. It's a bit broken. That's a shame for James. He was very disgruntled after last week as well, and the steward's call on it. And yeah, there was a bit of a telling off in the Discord though, because he's being brutal. His manner was awful. But yeah, even as a result, you know, he was turning it around by having a good race, and now it's come to naught. Down the inside goes Daniel Mellor onto the final lap. He decides now is the time, and it is very messy between the 3 of them, and in the background as well. They got a bit excited as well. Looks like the Lamborghini went off the road. Mellor has a slowdown penalty, loses out, and all that hard work now puts Jan Osberg back in the race lead. We're going to stick with this on the final lap here, though, Dara, because this is going to be an all-important fight to the flag.
Yeah, only 2, 3 real braking zones left here if Daniel Mellor wants to get back through, and he's got that slowdown still to serve already in P2. It's not looking rosy. Harris having to defend from Aston as well. Sheesby's in the background. If anything kicks off, still could sniff a podium if there is a little bit of drama in the closing half a lap. Danny Wiz clear of Jan Noj, couple of seconds. It would require a big mistake from him to lose out on this final lap as the timer ticks to 0, and it means that the next time we see that start finish line will be the checkered flag. Dean drops a wheel into the gravel. He's had a bit of a difficult time in the last few laps. It doesn't look like he's going to be picking up anything more than a P5, but we still could see some drama with Aston and Harris right together with 1 more or 2 more corners to go. Yeah, indeed, it's very, very tasty. Great stuff from these guys, though, and lovely, lovely battling. But Jan Osberg heads towards the Parabolica for the final time. And he's got Daniel Mellor. Well, actually, Daniel not even in the slipstream down here. Moves out to the left-hand side. He's going to try and take a wider line, I imagine. And no, he's going to look to the inside. He sent it on Osberg. He absolutely sends it into the final corner, does Daniel Mellor. Osberg is going to hold the outside line. I don't know if it's going to work for him. He's going to get a run to the line, but I think Daniel Mellor's done enough. It was a big send as they headed to the line, and Daniel Mellor takes the flag and takes the win at Monza. Can you believe it? What a move that was by Mellor. He wins from Osberg and Harris ahead of Aston and Sheesby. Incredible. I didn't think he'd pull that off, and I didn't think Jan Osberg would let him. No, and we've seen moves around the final corner at Monza before, not just for wins but for championships as well, but that really was a bit of a surprise. I'm not sure Jan Osberg was expecting it. Clearly caught by surprise a touch, but Daniel Mellor, what a way to end out. And in the end, when we mentioned the 2 battles at the front of the field, both Jans were leading, and in the end, both Dans were the ones to win the race. Yeah, they were. Jan and Jan fell by the wayside, side by side with Lewis Hammond and Robin Pownier. And just across the line, it is
I don't know. It didn't update. It looked to me like Hammond was the one that didn't win that race there. It looked like Paunier was definitely in front of him, but according to the sim, not. Stuart Rice finished in 3rd position in class in his BMW. More battles to the line. Jordan Jones just behind Rob Gregg. We've got this lot further down the order. Gareth Newton with his teammate Scott Kostrick just behind. Quick note on those two. I love the fact they've got opposing windscreen banners so you can tell them apart. That's always good to see. It's like something out of the British Touring Car Championship in the 90s, that is. Robert Savage was involved in that massive incident near the start of the race. He's now trying to make a move on Kostrick as they come to the line. Scott gives him all the room on the right-hand side. Not the thing to do in a Porsche that's fast in a straight line. You don't need to move over on him though, Savage. Side by side to the line, and oh my goodness me, Kostrick just holds on. Wow. Some great fights to the line here as the race ends. Thomas Weston and Andrew Allen much further down from where they started the race. Oh, steady, son. Andrew Allen nearly putting it in the wall there. Well, he crosses the line to complete the race. But what about Daniel Mellor, our race winner? Made such a great move at the end of that race there. I cannot believe, though. We knew he was going to send it. It was a bit more of an exuberant send than I expected, but I just can't believe that Jan Osberg left that one open for him.
Yeah, and I don't think he could believe his luck, quite frankly, but made it work from P6 on the grid to P1 in the final corner. Great way to round off his evening, but yeah, that was a really dramatic race from start to finish. That big pile-up at the start on the opening lap, and then backed up with that finish as well. Really great all the way through. Yeah,
very, very good race that. Lots of fun to watch. A lot went on, and we will have to try and debrief somehow after all of that, but we certainly have had a busy night here at Monza on the combined layout in the SimRacing International GT3 Championship. This has been the round to cap out the first half of the season here, Dara. I can't quite believe that we've already got to the end of the first half, but yeah, it's come around quick, hasn't it?
Really has. And, you know, when you get these 10-round seasons, they do go past pretty quickly. You know, a couple of rounds, anything early days, start the championship, getting your eye in, and then just, 2 or 3 weeks pass, and all of a sudden you're halfway through, and you're having to, zero in on the battles that you're looking for in the championship. So it can be tricky. But, yeah, really interesting to see how the second half of the season's going to go, starting next week.
Yeah, it'll be very, very good. I'm excited to see what the next rounds of the season have in store. Let's have a talk to some drivers, shall we? Why don't we bring in the man that won in the Evo class tonight, Mr. Weir. Hello, sir. How are you? You must be pretty buzzing, to say the least, after that one, mate. Talk us through it.
That was a fun race. It was a bit of a unfortunate start with the old Turn 1, Turn 4 little connection, but no, it was a good race. It's a great track. Lot of coaching from Matt Hoylands, which was really nice. But yeah, no, it was a great race. I just had to check up a little bit for a little incident that happened in front of me. And then after that, it was just trying to reel in Jan as much as I could and use other cars around me. But no, brilliant race, and hats off to everyone. As I said, it was a fairly clean race as well. Yeah,
there was a colossal accident further back that we will.
Oh, okay.
We'll disagree with you on that one. But I mean, what was it like trying to drive around this circuit? Because obviously the banking is iconic, but it's no less terrifying.
It's extremely bumpy. Like, it is. I like oval racing, so it wasn't too bad to just hold it and go. You know how to hold it. Just full throttle and just stick to that yellow line. But obviously the bumps were ridiculous. Like, you had to be so careful. Like, you didn't scratch your nose during that, because you lift one hand off the steering wheel and suddenly you're flying through the trees with the greatest of ease. But it's a great circuit to run naturally anyway, just natural Monza, but the combine just adds the extra element, and it's nice to actually run it in a proper official race kind of thing.
Well, it certainly looked like a lot of fun, Danny, and it's the first half of the season done now. How would you sum up your first 5 rounds of the season?
So far, so good. As I said, in and around the top 5, which is good. Obviously, would have been a bit higher if it weren't for Daytona, but we'll just put that in the past because we can't change that now. But yeah, it's a good start. Just got to hope I maintain that energy and drive throughout the rest of it, and hopefully come out nearer the top.
Well, we'll see how it goes for you, mate. Is there anyone you'd like to give a shout out to before we let you go?
Yeah, like I said, massive shout out to Matt for the coaching throughout the whole race. Like literally, I can't. This dedicated to him. It's a massive, massive help. And then a big shout out to Rob and Barry in that race for our qualifying tactics of just trying to help each other out. So yeah, big shout out to DXT as always. And again, thanks to you guys for commentating. I can't wait to watch it back.
Well, you'll certainly enjoy it, mate. It was a busy race, and then the Chaz and Dara podcast started with about 25 minutes to go. But either way, always a pleasure, Danny. Thank you very much, and we will see you very soon.
Yeah, definitely. Thank you, guys.
Cheers. Well, Danny Weir taking a fantastic win there, Dara. I mean, early on in the race, we expected Jan to just have it in his back pocket, but it just got chipped away at, didn't it, very quickly?
Yeah, it did, and Danny was able to pull that back, and it was kind of in clean air all the time, so there wasn't really any distractions for him to try and claim all of that time back, but did it really well in the end.
Absolutely. Now you've got your pick with the next driver we'll drag in.
Always. Now, for those of you watching at home, there's not many people in the interview booth, so this is not going to be hard. But let's drag in Dean. Why not? He was involved in that battle at the front of the field all the way through. Dean, welcome in. Hello. That was an interesting race from start to finish. Battles at the front all the way through. There were moments on the banking when you were millimetres from the car in front and millimetres from the car behind. How was that for you?
I don't think it was millimetres. I think we were touching all the way around. That was the plan, to push him as hard as I could. But I was trying to save fuel plus push him because I knew it was the fastest way to get around the track. So yeah, really enjoyed that race. Little mistake by myself. One into T1. I don't know if you caught it on stream, where I just dived out of it so I didn't take the pack out because I couldn't see the markers. And then when I pitted, I put front tyres on, and it cost me 2 laps, and it just snapped in the scoring, and I just had to bail into the gravel, and then I lost the train, which was killing me. I was catching them back up in the actual Monza track, but on the banking they were gaining half a second on me. It was just painful.
But in the end, I guess you were only a couple of seconds off the race win, weren't you? When all was said and done. So not a long way away from from the top points, but still some very, very good points for your championship. Has been a little bit up and down for you so far this season. Some really good results, and I think you'd agree points that may have gone missing in a couple of rounds. Where have your ambitions, or where are your ambitions lying going to the second half of the season?
I'm going to push for the top. Not going to lie. First race of the season, the car felt absolutely brilliant. Then we went to Daytona, and the back end just felt like it was going to snap on me all the way through there, and I couldn't get the top speed. Obviously, I did misfortune of race 1, where I got taken out from P2 and ended up P6, so lost points there. We won't talk about race 2. That's a race from my history. Then we went to the wet race, where again I had the pace, but drive-through cost me. Should have won that potentially, but yeah, that was due to my own fault in race 2 at Daytona. And then again at Miami, the back end just wouldn't talk to me how I wanted it to, and I was fighting it all the way around, and a couple of mistakes and a couple of misfortunes, and I've lost points there. But I think I figured out something. I'm not going to say what it is, but on this track I was losing the back end again, and I've done a couple of setup tweaks, and the back end feels planted. So hopefully I can take that forward into the rest of the races.
I thought you were going to tell us that you'd figured out you were driving a Corvette, and that's what it was.
I hope you saw my tribute to you.
No, see, somebody said that there was something on the roof of the car. I didn't know whether you were just going to be shouting at the stewards like your teammate was, but we couldn't see what it was. So we asked Liam Fraser, but he's ignorant, and he didn't answer us.
You're going to have to go back, Chaz. It's dedicated to you, mate.
Oh, well, we can see the car in slow-mo now, but...
I was going to say, after all this talk of liveries, and you didn't see the top of the roof?
Honestly, mate, we haven't got the right camera for it. I can't even tell what it is. If it's my face, I'm surprised you could fit it on the roof.
It is your face with #1 fan, mate.
Oh, bless you.
Oh, lovely.
Oh, that's mint. Thank you. You do wind me up, though.
Good.
I was going to say, there were funny shades of red and pink. I was wondering.
Oh, God.
It's the little round thing in the middle of his head, which looks a bit dodgy.
Oh, no.
That is part of the car, I promise.
Oh, no.
Maybe it's good we didn't see it then, Charles.
Maybe. Either way.
I'll send it you.
Yeah, go on then.
Well, I mean, Dean, looking forward, just a very, very quick word. Virginia, sum it up in a sentence for me. You're looking forward to it?
Yes and no. Last time I raced it, I was in VR, and the puddles kept appearing and disappearing, and it caused issues. But at the same time, I feel very comfortable in the wet. So the fact that I'd like to say I'm probably one of the fastest wet drivers in the pack. So yeah, I don't want to count my chickens too soon, but yeah, looking forward to it.
Yeah, we are too. And thanks for chatting to us this evening. Before we let you go, is there anyone you'd like to give a shout out to on the stream? Yeah,
I'll give a shout out to the Moonshiner boys. We might be -1 by the end of tonight, but that will soon find out, won't we? Other than that, to everybody who runs the league, yeah, there's disagreements. There's always going to be. It's a part of racing. Two people see things completely differently, so yeah. And then to you boys, can't wait to see the stream. I'm gutted you didn't see it, Chaz. I'm going to have to run it next week then.
We'll set a camera up for it.
I'm going to put it on the bonnet or the side of the car for him.
Perfect, team. Thank you. Thanks for joining us. Good luck next week, and we'll probably speak to you then.
Cheers, Darren. Cheers, Chaz. Catch you later, lads.
See you later. Always a laugh to Cheeseby. Well, like I say, said he winds me up in the races. Obviously, it's all in love and what is it? All's fair in love and war and all that rubbish. But yeah, he's a character as Dean, and that's what you want in the championship. You know, it's always
the crash in the background.
Oh look, it's so elegant in slow mo. Oh dear. Wait, did the two GPX Porsches hit each other? Oh, we're not going to watch that back in slow-mo. Quick, we'll move on. We'll move on very quickly, and we'll speak to Mr. Rice. Stuart Rice joins us.
Watch it now.
In the oh no! Quick, look away. Oh, look at how pretty that McLaren is behind you.
Oh no!
Oh, it's lovely. You didn't do anything dodgy, Stuart. Quickly for the jury before we look forward.
Well, yeah, that's the thing. As far as I know, I didn't, but we're about to find out. But it's probably
BM.
the over to. Yeah, there is another BM. The problem is when you're going for moves like that, it's very hard not to get tunnel vision straight ahead of you.
Yeah, 100%.
And I've always been of the opinion of this, that if there is two lines and you're having to go round stuff, it generally just sort of makes it all work. Basically, that's where I'm at with that. It's thankfully wasn't overtaking, so that helps.
Yeah.
Because he went straight back through. But that was a very interesting moment in the fact that I was basically going to my teammate Rach further back, just like, there is a crash, they are here.
Yeah.
I don't know where they are. I don't know where they'll be, but just try. It's the best you could do.
Well, what was your night like from your perspective then? Because I mean, it's an interesting circuit. It's a bit of a Marmite one, but it seemed like you had an interesting night at least.
Yeah, there was definitely some choices. I think I finished the race on 0.2 laps of fuel.
Ouch.
So it got very, very close. Mainly because of the fact it's just hard to judge. Because obviously I've just switched to the BMW only a race ago, which means trying to judge how its fuel works and how its fuel runs out, etc., 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 is basically something I'm trying to learn. But otherwise, the race was pretty much just sort of lap, quite heavy lift and coast in the middle of it. The only way I got to the end, really. But towards the end, it was just trying to sort of get back. I don't think there was realistically any way I could have got anywhere near second or first by the end of that.
Well, it seemed like it was quite tough. I mean, it was strange because some of the Porsches had such great straight line speed, which is, as we said, something that Porsche isn't normally known for. But without the slipstream, they were just getting away. It was just absolutely nuts. But still, I mean, you've changed to the BMW. It's something we wanted to ask you about last time. It's not something we normally see. Usually, people change away from the BMW and it's god ugly face. But what drew you to it?
Not its god ugly face, but I'm gonna surprise you even more and say that Rach has switched to the Beamer. So that's two people who have switched away from another car to the BMW.
Yeah, we noticed that.
The best way I'd explain it is it has a heck of a lot more of a stable platform for me and her to actually try and race with. The problem with the Aston is it was quite not unpredictable, but you never quite knew how to make it work as a car for an all-rounder. The Beamer just seems to be a lot more stable overall and a lot easier to make curbs work. And curbs is basically mine and Rach's weakness. So finding something that allows us to hit the curbs with a heck of a lot more confidence than we normally can without worrying we'll turn a car into a DeLorean over a lap, that's the main thing.
Well, that's very true, and I mean, I wouldn't want to be in a DeLorean because naturally they were actually sheds.
No.
They were sheds with doors. Either way, though, Stuart, you know, you've not had a bad start to the season. Is there anyone you'd like to give a shout out to before we let you go?
Predominantly the league as a whole. It's exceptionally run. basically echoing what Dean said. It's just very well run. The racing is exceptionally good. There's always occasional get-togethers, but that happens. And you guys as well. I know it's just basically mirroring exactly what Dean said, but it is true. It is genuinely just very well sourced overall. And Rach, because she's improved a heck of a lot in terms of over just the first few races.
Fair play.
Hopefully that can continue.
Well, we look forward to seeing how the rest of the season goes for you, mate. Thank you very much for joining us, and we'll see you again next time.
Thank you very much.
Well, there we go. Stuart Rice having a better time tonight in the BMW, actually, finishing third in class. Not actually turning out to be a bad decision to change that car, is it?
No, not at all. And, looking like it. Like you said, if it's more planted, it's going to be... I think it's going to be a little bit easier to drive. You're going to be feeling more confident. That's what you want, particularly heading into the second half of the season, which, of course, will be next week.
Absolutely will be. Yeah, it's not going to be too long now until we get there. We just have a quick look actually at the calendar. You'll see where we're at next time round, and we're going to be at the Virginia International Raceway on the full course there for another hour-long race. They flip the alternation back on its head now, so we have 2 hour-long races back-to-back, and then we have obviously the 2:30 minutes at Bathurst and Misano. Nürburgring Grand Prix should be an interesting one, and I'm very intrigued about Imola for the season finale. But for now, thank you so much for watching, everybody. We really hope you've enjoyed the show tonight. Thank you once again, Dara. Thank you all the drivers for putting on a great show, and for the admins for having us and allowing us to host our podcast here. It's always been very good fun. Thanks for watching, and we'll see you in a week's time. Have a good night.